Hello, happy Sunday. Really good to see you all. And happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the folks in the room, all the fathers, but also the single parents, the single mothers, the guardians, the folks that play that role in people's lives, the ones that are here with us, and those for whom we hold an open chair for. So I just want to call our ancestors into this room as well, our beloveds, our big family, whole family, as we celebrate this day of togetherness. It's really good to see you all. Taking you in. So this is like my fourth or fifth talk about unity. And I was laughing about this as I was looking through my folder of talks, and realizing just the propensity for me signing up for this topic, and what it has meant for me, and what it has meant for me to do so in community, and really the idea that I really only get to know God through the multitude, through each of you being that reflection of God. And that's where I want to start with the idea of unity, that it's through the many that we can understand oneness. Through the many not necessarily being the same, but through being authentically themselves. Through the multitude that is not just a human experience, but also all of life's experience. All of the four-leggeds, the two-leggeds, the winged, the swimming ones. That there is this wondrous gift that we're given of seeing and being, of experiencing beyond what is just us, ourselves, this personality that is a gift to us in every moment, but really is only a gift when we step out of ourselves, step out into surrender, and step out into a trust, a faith, a letting go. And I'm also just conscious that this is the end of a first year of seminary for me. You can walk and make all the noise you need to make. She doesn't know we're talking about her. And so this first year of seminary is often one of, indeed, letting go and transformation into our authentic selves by that letting go process. So this very human journey, it's not about being in seminary or not. I would offer that it is something that we're all continually in dialogue with, in movement with. This flourishing, inner and outward, this blossoming inner and outward, even when the leaves are bare, the trees are bare, that it's still going on. There's this conspiracy of life that is propelling us forward. And it invites us continually to reconnect with ourselves and to wholeness. That there's just nothing outside of the goodness, the gift, the grace that is God, Spirit, oneness, life, whatever word you want to give it. It is also an opportunity, I think, for us in this exploration of wholeness, whether we, by the way, willingly or consciously decide to partake in it or not. It's still kind of, it's like kids, it's like a playground. Sometimes you walk by a playground and you don't see kids playing in it. But there is this eternal space that a playground occupies, that is this holding of joy, possibility, exploration, mischief, hide and go seek in an impossibly not hide and go seek friendly place. But that this exploration of wholeness, just like that playground, it's just always there. We can drive by it quickly or slowly, but the possibility of that joy, that divine unfolding is always there. And just like that childlike state, there is no such sense of separation. Everything is a wonder. All is at our fingertips. And we are deeply, deeply, I would say, when we think of unity, we are deeply interdependent. That your joy is my joy. Your flourishing is my flourishing. This zero-sum game that we've been sold of if you get it, then I don't, and I go without, is one of the most pernicious lies that we can all consider letting go. Because when you do well, I do well. When we blossom, everything blossoms. And this is what Thich Nhat Hanh speaks to in this idea of interbeing. It's almost like we live and flourish within each other. I cultivate the flower. You cultivate the flower in yourself so that I will be beautiful, he says. I transform the garbage within myself so that you will not have to suffer. I'm going to flip it around. I cultivate the flower in myself so that you will be beautiful. You transform the garbage within yourself so that I will not have to suffer. There's this deep sense of responsibility and care that we practice moment by moment in unity. Being each other's mud so that the lotus may bloom. But also perhaps the little critters that buzz around that can annoy each other. Maybe that helps me bloom too. That through humility, I blossom. That in the muckiness, there's great beauty. And yet we know that we live in this world. I'll be brief. I know you told me 15 minutes. We live in this world that keeps reinforcing separation. It's just so damn easy, isn't it? There is everything in our politics, our media, the way we listen to each other, but also just the fun technology we have, these algorithms that put us into boxes that sell us the exact rug that I thought I wanted 10 days ago. Where's the delight? Where's the mystery, the surprise? And that's what I wonder about. That one of the great gifts, one of the great invitations of unity is to recalibrate our senses. We have to consider that there's more to it all than what we see, what we think, what we believe, what we remember. It's so easy to succumb to that. The Tao puts it this way in verse 14. Eyes look, but cannot see it. Ears listen, but cannot hear it. Hands grasp, but cannot touch it. Beyond the senses lies the great unity. Invisible, inaudible, intangible. What rises up seems bright, what settles down appears dark. Yet there is neither darkness nor light, just an unbroken dance of shadows. So how do we dance with these shadows? These shadows that remind us that there is so much more than the binary world of good, bad, yes, no, this, that. This forced choice where there is a middle way, a third way, multiple ways. For me, I have found that the committee that runs in my head, maybe you have a committee as well, and who sits at the head of that table has been always my question. Who is pounding the table right now while I am activated, annoyed, afraid, uncertain? What voices may I invite and create a space for? How may I find balance? And I want to be clear, this is not about ejecting anyone out. Sometimes we're funny about things like ego. We want to be egoless. No, I would say I would want you to have a sense of you as well. so that I can appreciate and see God in the individualization that you are, so that we all may know more of God through the oneness that we each are. So we must ask ourselves a question always. What lens am I seeing this through? What story is repeating through what I'm experiencing? I'm raising the veil. I want to feel you. I want to know you. I want to praise you. I want to love you. What is the veil that we are looking through? Thank you for the setup, by the way. I mean, I should have just shown up with a blank piece of paper and a good pen. But what is the veil that we are seeing through? So for us, all of us, I think it's an invitation. What is alive in this moment? What rises up appears bright, the Tao says. Appears bright. But must we succumb? Must we be entangled or ensnared by the story, the juiciness, the drama? What settles down appears dark. Maybe in the darkness, just like in the mud, there is our great flourishing. This idea of recalibrating our senses is an invitation to let go, to truly let go, to do that dance in the shadow and trust. One never knows where their feet may land. Hell, you could just not be a good dancer. But maybe it is about the movement. Maybe it is about being in the fullness of our experience, in our bodies too, in our joy too, in our laughter. You mentioned laughter this morning. That there's a movement of energy. And the Tao continues from nothingness to fullness and back again to nothingness. This formless form, this imageless image, cannot be grasped by mind or might. Try to face it. In what place would you stand? Try to follow it. To what place will you go? Know that which is beyond all beginnings, and you will know everything here and now. Know everything in this moment, and you will know the eternal Tao. How many of you are in wrestling matches with your lives? I know I am. This imageless image cannot be grasped by mind or might. In New Thought, often we can live with God from the neck up, through our mind. And one of the gifts I've had is when I've been with you all to be reminded of the multitude of ways that we can live with God in other ways. And yet our willingness, and our willfulness, I should say, also plays a role, doesn't it? Where our might, we try to wrestle a lot with God, spirit, fate, whatever word you have of it. And it's not pretty wrestling either. It's not professional. And so, how can we invite ourselves into the cycle of life, the ebb and flow of life, rather than seeing that it's linear, that I'm getting from A to B and there's just no place in between? This binary thinking once again. So I offer that making peace with the fullness of our senses is truly letting go, letting God, dancing with mystery and the unknown, and allowing space for delight, for that thing you do not expect that will shatter you in wondrous ways, that will bring you back to that playground. wherever that is. Thank you. And finding the teachers in every moment. Thank you. We must, and here's an example of it, we just have to surrender sometimes. We just truly have to surrender to create a space for beyond us. Not ego decimation. It's I and. It's greater than just ourselves. And I wonder also on this day, a gift that has been for us in our seminary has been also that it's me and then our ancestors. That there is a whole wind in our sails of people that have brought us to this moment. That you are just never alone. This idea of unity, of being just what's alive or present for me right now, maybe that's a little too limiting. To remember the entire continuity of life that has brought us here, that will continue, that shall always continue. Only the truly dead are those that have been forgotten, is an African proverb. You only die once you are forgotten. And I would offer that you are truly alive as you remember. As you remember. Not with attachment, but remembrance. One of my favorite poets, and I speak to this as one of the first things I experienced in this country when we moved here as a young child, was an American Scots poet, Norman Maclean. And you might know him from A River Runs Through It, which is a beautiful movie and book. And he put it this way: eventually, all things merge into one, and a river runs through it. The river was cut by the world's great flood and runs over rocks from the basement of time. On some of the rocks are timeless raindrops. Under the rocks are the words, and some of the words are theirs. It's an interesting thing to remember and experience unity. And remember that there's this paradox always at play. This paradox of letting go to invite something beyond ourselves, and yet remembering where we come from, remembering that some of the words are theirs. To experience the unity, the oneness of it all, and know that there's a river that runs through it, that there's movement, vitality, sustenance, incredible grace, a softening that runs through it all, and it's still all one thing. And perhaps we too are that river, and our words will be on those rocks. And that we will always be connected, always, to this one thing. And so it is. Amen.